All right, so BOJ TV viewers and subscribers, we have another story for you. Some of you may have heard before, some may have not heard. Let's do this nonetheless. All right, so British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been removed out of intensive care, his office says in a statement Thursday. A spokesman at 10 Downing Street said Johnson has been removed this evening from intensive care and back to the ward, where he will receive close monitoring during the early phase of his recovery. Johnson has been in intensive care for 3 days after his symptoms for coronavirus worsened. He tested positive for the virus 2 weeks ago and at first had only mild symptoms. Meanwhile, the British government's two chief advisors on the coronavirus pandemic voiced cautious optimism that the country's outbreak may be near its peak, even as the COVID-19 death toll rose sharply to just shy of 8,000. In the government's daily press briefing, Chief Scientific Advisor Patrick Vallance noted signs that the rise in the new coronavirus cases and the increases in the number of people going into hospital may be leveling off as a result of the social distancing measures imposed. He also said the transmission of the coronavirus within the community may be shrinking, and Professor Whitty, the government's chief medical advisor, also noted that the time it takes for the number of people in intensive care to double has got steadily longer over the past couple of weeks, from 3 days to 6 or more now, and extending in time. All right, so a bit of good news there. The British Prime Minister is now out of intensive care. However, the number of people dying after testing positive, and we're still in Britain, the number of people dying after testing positive for COVID-19 disease is set to carry on an upward trajectory for a couple of weeks in light of the lags involved, Valence said. Government figures earlier showed the UK recorded 881 new coronavirus-related deaths, down from 938 in the previous 24-hour period. In total, 7,978 patients have died in hospital after testing positive for the coronavirus. All right, so for those of you who asked us to do that story, there you have it. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been moved out of intensive care, says his office, but he seems to still be in the hospital where he is now on the ward. And of course, a number of persons were skeptical when they saw that first video that Boris Johnson had put out saying that he was tested positive for the coronavirus. You remember also that the prince of the royal family, also indicated that he tested positive for the coronavirus. There were a lot of speculations in the air as persons were saying that they didn't believe that the British Prime Minister really contracted the coronavirus. They said, they were of the view that they were only doing it to, drive the point home that anybody can catch this coronavirus and for persons to take it serious. Well, we recognized that definitely was a myth, and the British Prime Minister was actually in intensive care. Those international journalists and intellectuals, they couldn't tell a big lie like that. For those of who were speculating whether or not it is true or not, it seems it's as if it's definitely true. I know you're going to still have some persons who do not believe. There is so much conspiracy theory going around about this corona virus. I have my own speculations. My own thoughts are that that supreme being above is demonstrating, is showing persons that, look, I am God Almighty and I'm still in control, because persons who are holding high position kings and queens and prime ministers and members of parliament and senators. We believe that we have become so mighty on earth, and a lot of persons are even doubting whether there's a God. I always have my faith in that supreme being, and I just think that God is showing that, look, I am still in control, and with a snap of a finger, I can demonstrate that I can still, have a hold on my world. You know, having said that, though, we are waiting. We really want to get this behind us. In general, here in Jamaica, we have been managing. Right now, as we're doing this vlog, it is Holy Friday, and the entire Jamaica is shut down. At the time we're doing this, it's approximately 5 o'clock. So Jamaica has been shut down for just about 2 hours.